Columbus, Ohio. We are back at it again. Welcome to City League Sports Show here. I'm excited today, man, in the studio, in the flesh. We have, I don't even know how to describe you, right? But I'm giving this like big picture of energy because we got a Brookhaven guy, we got a Columbus City guy. For all my Bobcats out there, we got some OU love going on. We got a lot of love going on. So joining me today is the one and only Mr. A.T. Thornton is in the show. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. We're going to get into some fun here. A.T., say hello to everybody in Central Ohio, man. Say what's up and let them know you're in the house with us today.
I'm so honored, to get the call. Son here, a few months back. But it's just an honor and a privilege to be representing the city.
Yeah.
I'm a City League boy.
Certainly.
Born and bred.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just honored that I was asked to come down here and share my story.
Now, your story is one, and I've shared your story in different conversations many times. Me and you have known each other for I don't know how long, man, and it's kind of ironic even. We were talking maybe a couple of weeks back. My son and your nephew are buddies. You know what I mean? These two little dudes running around. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it like speaks to the full circle. Coach, you've done a little bit of everything, but like I wanna go back because I read something that was interesting. Now, for a lot of us, we all kind of hear this amazingness of Brookhaven. Mm-hmm. And I'm not here to say that Brookhaven wasn't amazing.
Right.
But it was interesting to me to kind of see that before you, football-wise, we speaking football only for a moment, before you, Brookhaven wasn't having the type of success.
Right.
Are you like the where it begins? Are you the originator, man, of this Brookhaven energy that we see, man? This long run of output of success that everybody talks about?
Emphatically, I say no.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, there's so much to this story. Never thought we was going there. Yeah, never thought we were going to Brookhaven. Okay. I was in the park shooting basketball one day with one of our neighborhood guys, brother Eric Bradley, class of '85, and he brought it to my attention. We're just talking like, Lyndon McKinley, right? That's my neighborhood.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're going to Brookhaven. I said, going where? So from that, the neighborhoods, I lived off of the Joyce on one side of Hudson, the brothers who lived on the other side of the Buster Douglases and those folks. Mm-hmm. But it was a group of guys when I got there, Jimmy Burton, Herbie White, Kevin Tucker, Kevin Teacher. I pay homage to them. When I got the job as the Brookhaven head coach, those were the first guys I brought in.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
To bring to light why Brookhaven had become what it had become, at least because I'm 2010 coaching. Okay. Right? 8, somewhere in there. I lose track. We've been in it so long.
No doubt, yes. Indeed.
But I paid homage to them because when there was nothing on those walls at Columbus Brookhaven High School, inside the gym, no football, no basketball, no track, no basketball,
no
All-Americans, none of those things. Right. Those guys that I referenced were the ones who said, this is how we're going to play ball, right? This is what Brookhaven, we're tired of losing. You add in Gary Carter, Marvin Whiting, Tom Blake, Sanjeev Sabaya, Roger Elander, and Everett Thomas.
Guys who lived it.
Everett Thomas, who I see every day at Mifflin, where I'm at now. He's walking he and his wife.
Yes, indeed.
Russell Friend. I pay homage to them because when you have busing and you get moved to a different place, not everyone was accepting, of desegregation and deseg, right? And so in that and living that and breathing that, there was just a way in which we did business. It was the way we were taught and groomed.
Wow, okay.
And it lent itself to setting the foundation about what toughness was going to be. A quick one, we get beat by Marion Franklin my freshman year.
Okay.
Physically dominated. And on the JV side, though, we like 6-1, 7-1.
Right.
And this is great.
Yeah,
we doing our thing.
Yeah.
And we come back from that game, the varsity game, and we hit the field, and he came out with all these towels, right? Like old school hand towels.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, what's this? He was like, we're physically getting beat up right now.
Yeah.
this will no longer take place. We're going to start our off-season program now. This may be with about 2-3 games left in the season.
Wow, okay.
Right? So we do bear crawls, duck walks, which are outlawed.
Yeah.
Sprints, but we did manual resistance workout right there on the field. And I just carried over into the off-season. And then I told the story to some of the young guys that I, have coached, been coaching. Some of them are coaching with me now at Mifflin. Right, and I give them this story about we played a home scrimmage against Westland, and they gave us this thing. And they said, "Listen, you're going to for whatever points that they score against you in this scrimmage, we're going to run double the hundreds." Right? So
now who's saying that? Whose voice?
Gary Carter. Gary Carter is setting that table.
Setting it, okay.
And then where I'm going with this is the mindset to answer your original question. And it was, we felt great. We I think maybe 2 scores to 1. Really ain't keep a score. But they got 2 scores.
Right.
And you'd have thought we won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Coming from where we're coming from.
Right.
The coach communication at the end, and then it was drop them. Drop what? Shoulder pass. What we doing? Oh, they scored twice.
Oh, yeah. Right.
28 100s, right? And then the coaching psychology of it, we don't run 28. Hey, you make this and this time, we knock off 5.
Right.
It was the mindset.
Yeah.
And we went from that space to becoming more physical to where now we're 5-5.
Right.
And then it just led itself to my junior year. We had a huge game against Weststone. We ended up losing. The great Alvin Bird and those guys over there, the Derek Russell, a couple other guys. I can't call their name off the top of my head, but a knockdown, drag out. And we had a call go against us that they came out in the old school suburban news.
Right, okay.
Right? They missed
the old
call,
newspaper.
Right.
Yeah.
But in that season, I could see it coming. Really, we won the city, so to speak, by default my senior year.
Okay.
Mifflin went on to the playoffs that year, so we played Eastmoor. We beat Eastmoor down in Cooper. But it was the year before we had a game against Independence. We were like 1-2 at the time, or 1-1 at the time, but we playing Independence over there at their place. And again, we won that game on the last second run. I think I threw a pass to Emory Miller.
Okay.
Amazing how you can recall these people's names, right?
Yeah.
We punch it in on the goal line, and we win the game.
Yeah.
I can think back to playing Cleveland Brunswick maybe 2 weeks earlier, because Coach Carter set the pace for we were going to work to make the playoffs. So it was a mindset change from him. That's where I give my credence to.
Okay.
It was his whole set. And so we travel off to Cleveland Brunswick, go to Ponderosa, go to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And we took our lumps.
Yeah.
Right? But he put us in this space and he created the culture and the environment to say it's going to be physical. Yeah. We're going to be tough.
Yeah.
So these follow-up years all the way through now, you got the Tubi documentary, the 2004, 2005 teams, that team and everything else that transpired before that, after that. Within that, those were the things that built it the way it was.
Yeah, but so I'll say it this way maybe then, like somewhere in some group has to be a part of that building. Right. And you're a part of that. I'll share this. So I'm a little bit younger than you, but you got a little bit more gray than me. So maybe it looks that for all of our video watchers, I'm not quite where Coach is at yet today. But like you were one of the names I remember as an East Side guy. You were one of the names I heard.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, and it just ironically, we're going to connect here because I heard your name from Gary Carter. So by the time I got to Columbus Walnut Ridge, Gary Carter was over at Walnut Ridge, right? And so he had transitioned obviously from Brookhaven over to Walnut Ridge and was coaching. And and I would remember hearing like your name because we didn't have, when we were kids, we didn't have all the social medias and the videos and the YouTubes and the whatever else, the IGs or whatever else that kids can do to help kind of shrink the world for them. Right now I talk to a kid and they would be talking about a guy from Texas as if they live next door to each other. Right. Yeah, I saw AJ such and such. I'm like, hold on, that kid's in Texas. So it's a different world. And so I remember how Coach would talk about you, and then as I started getting more, I would hear people talk about you. So I mean, like, you was a bad dude, man. You know what I mean? Like, do you know that? Do you receive that as being a part of that? I mean, you was a bad dude.
So I'm gonna walk it this way, right?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how you.
You mentioned Coach Carter, and I left that part out of the story. Meaning he left and went to Walnut Ridge our senior year. We cried like big kids.
Oh,
man.
wow, okay.
Right, we just come to a practice one day.
Yeah.
Hey, got something to tell y'all.
Yeah.
And he lived out in that direction, so it was closer.
Yeah.
And so he built it. So that part of it was huge in it, what we were playing for my senior year. But to answer your question, my mother gets on me. My mother's a huge supporter.
Okay.
Fan.
Yeah. Love it.
A fan of sports, period.
Yeah. Okay.
And so she, we joke now because when I get into
And your mother's an educator?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I
35
mean?
years. She's a building sub at Mifflin, right?
Yeah, certainly.
But she built I don't want to use the word killer, right?
Okay.
She built like when kids, how they build players on the
Madden
or
now.
whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
My mother gets mad at me sometimes because she's like, especially when in my younger days, right, about not always being humble, right?
Okay.
And so we.
Oh, did we get a little dose of that here today?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, to answer your question though, but that's what she built in me.
Yeah.
Right. But what she always said was, right, you need that scholarship. I come from a place where you gotta go to school.
Right. Okay.
And the one way you're gonna go to school is you're gonna play this football.
Yeah.
You're gonna play football or basketball. It's gonna be one of the two.
Yeah.
So the product that she created, and by what I mean created, it was I was gonna get my grades.
Yeah.
But when you out there and you playing,
right.
Yeah, get 'em.
Okay.
The humility part of it was always somebody's out there that's better than you. Right?
Yeah, okay.
And so keeping that in mind, I just knew what I had to do.
Right.
I do come from a family. My father and my uncle were very talented and gifted.
Okay.
I had an uncle that played college quarterback at Bowling Green State University.
Okay.
So I was built in that image.
Right. Okay.
And so, what I also mean by that, in conjunction with the talents and the gifts and the toughness and all those things that's created playing ball in the park, it was an IQ thing.
Yeah.
So I can name off just as many guys from a basketball standpoint, right?
Okay.
When people say my name and bandy it about,
yeah,
right? I say, man, I could tell you about 10 cats that went through Brookhaven that never made the court. And they was nice.
Right. Just for whatever reasons in life, yeah.
When you think about how I ascended, right?
Right.
If I talk about how I ascended in the basketball world, well, Wayne Marshall, to me, who's one of the baddest cats I've ever seen.
Right.
Strap him up.
Yeah.
He was ineligible my 10th grade year.
Okay.
Now, we still play position basketball, too.
Right, yeah.
Back then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So.
Which I miss so dearly. I miss the basketball in me. I throw that in there. I miss it dearly.
Right. So getting on the court at a time when he was ineligible and they thought enough of me to get on that court and be able to compete with 4 other seniors.
Yeah.
Right? What got me through was the IQ piece of it.
Okay.
Right? The quarterback and the lineage of my father being a quarterback, the lineage of my uncle being a quarterback.
Yeah.
So football was in sports was always talked about from that deal.
Okay.
So for me, I entered the arena and just added in the toughness, the grittiness, and those things that people credit me for.
Okay.
Right? Like, man, right? It was just a matter of I knew where I had to get to.
Yeah.
So I had to outwork you.
Okay.
And I had to outthink you.
Right.
Right? Now, when it came down to closing time.
Right, let's get it, right? Let's get
when
it.
it came down to closing time,
Yeah.
I even tell the young boy, we play Chicago 21 in the gym. My will to win is stronger than yours. And so I've lived on that.
These kids don't even know what Chicago 21 is, man. It's unbelievable. Yeah. But yeah, I don't want us to lose that piece of it. I mean, but I guess I'll share it this way, man. So like I also think having just heard some of the stories, like, and seeing where the game of football has transitioned to, especially at the quarterback position, you was 20 years ahead of your time, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like I mean, in today's game, and for all your skill set that you had, you know, and not that you weren't a superstar, but I mean, it was probably a different game, and not that you didn't excel at the game that it was, but just now what quarterbacks are maybe allowed to do.
Right.
So you leave a Brookhaven, having been in Columbus as a kid, and then you go off to OU. So that's your next stop?
Yes.
And so how does that go for you? How do you go to OU? How does that transition look for you? And like, if you're just sharing, tell anybody, tell the listeners what pops in your head about being in that time period as a young man.
So going into the senior year had to make a decision.
Okay.
My mother felt like I needed to make a decision. Choose football or basketball, right?
Okay.
And so she would lean on my uncle, right? And so we get to that stage.
This is what, 88?
No. This is 86.
86, okay. 86, okay.
So we get to my senior year, and it's, you know, trying to make decisions. On the one side of when I get the backdrop of the basketball thing, our coach, rest in peace, Dick Malloy, never thought I could play above Division III basketball, right?
Okay.
So you know what that means, then whatever comes in the door is not getting to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So everything is coming from football.
Yeah.
I could have went to Ohio State and or Michigan State, but you know, hey, play some safety. Right, Nick Saban. I don't talk about it a lot, but Nick Saban stood right in the hallway and said, "You want to be a safety? Come to Michigan State. I got you."
Yeah.
Ohio State was saying the same thing.
Okay.
In the summer, we playing AAU basketball with the greats, Lou Jeters, the Tony Lucases.
Come on, man.
Kevin Haddock.
Yeah.
David. I never
Snake
David,
out there running around.
Right?
Yeah.
And we play in the summer league
Lefty
game.
Lou.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we playing that summer league.
Lou gave me the blues one game. I think he might have gave us about 37 one night on the basketball. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I'm playing the summer league hoop game against this cat. Me, Kevin Bird, Scott Reeves.
Scotty. Okay.
Right. We call ourselves the B side. Right.
Okay.
Chip Germany was our coach.
Yeah.
So all that together, we play these cats just a AAU, and it's really like who the winner gets to move on, right?
Right.
Nobody thought we was going to win.
Okay.
Right? We playing. I look up in this.
And y'all playing against Lou and Kevin on them on the same team? Okay.
Yeah, they had you know, the
okay.
JT 76ers. I'm not in the basketball world, but all the cats,
no doubt.
All the cats.
That's why when you said that, it took me a second to register that just now, because Lou and Snake on the same team is.
Man, they had Beater.
Yeah.
Tony Lucas.
Yeah,
like
that's
they was supposed to mop the floor
that's getting
with
it right
us,
there. Okay.
And rest in peace. It was supposed to be Eli Brewster.
Okay.
But
Eli.
He wasn't there that day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's getting it right there.
Man, we balling. And at halftime, it's a halftime, and I go in the hallway to get some water or something. Lo and behold, it's Jim Clemens.
Okay.
Right. Jim Clemens say, "Hey, youngin', you keep trying to take it in there with the trees, man. Sit out there, you know, take what they give you." That's just the aggressive nature. Like, hey, man, these cats, I'm coming to bring it today.
Right.
But in that just little bit of advice, we go out in the second half. 9 times out of 10, they wipe the floor with us.
Right.
But on this particular day, and start pulling up. So now my mind goes to, do I do football, basketball to get to the piece?
Yeah.
And I didn't find out until much later. We play in Linden at Linden.
Okay.
And Coach Marv Whiting comes up to me and said, "Hey, Jim says, man, if you're interested in playing some hoop, you know, you got a scholarship to go to Ohio State." But I've already committed to Ohio University, right? Yeah. And I do that, again, my uncle, Michael James Wright. He's a black quarterback, 1976 to 1979 at Bowling Green State University.
Wow.
I quit playing middle school football for a whole year just to go watch him.
Wow, okay.
And that was my piece, like, no, this is what I'm
Certainly
here. So I get to Ohio University, and it was
that in itself. And I didn't mean to dive in because we're going, but like I think sometimes, man, our path and our journey that is built for us, for all of us individually out here, right? And we have these different little moments that happen that help influence our path later on. And like you just shared, here's a young guy, middle school, who has this connection to a family member and gets a chance, like you said, to go watch games and whatnot, and then maybe what that does to you 6 years later, right? Because here you are 40 years later, and you can talk about it like it was yesterday, right? You know what I mean? So it just speaks to, and I love those moments in people's lives, man, where you can look back and kind of see how the road went in that direction, right? And you got somebody in your life who you've mentioned a couple of times here today, right? That obviously is an influence and is a part of your journey. So you say, hey, look, I want to go to OU because I can spin that thing, right? I want to get there. What was it like, man? What was that experience like? Early '80s, I mean late '80s, early '90s, man. What was that like?
Challenging,
Okay.
right? To give it a clearer picture, our head coach, Cleveland O'Brien, passed away last February, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna work backwards. We go to the services. We had known he was sick, and we get there, and he was coaching at the University of Texas, a lot of different places, but he was living in Texas at the time. So when we go, and I'm sitting there amongst everything, and all this stuff is going on. His Texas players, there's 4 of us from Ohio U that come.
Okay.
His
Nice.
wife,
Yeah.
the sons, and his sister. But as they're doing the eulogy, it hit me. This black man gave me a chance at a predominantly white institution to lead this predominantly white institution
no doubt.
in the time frame when we weren't thought of to be capable to think, to play, to throw, to pass, to lead.
Right.
So in working backwards to that, I think about those were some tough years, man, because that pressure started to hit, you know, where you go from being what I was, you know, here, and more so the wins and the losses. Never going somewhere, bro, and like losing.
Right.
And losing junior high.
Right.
Youth league,
right.
you know, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So it was a challenge, and so now you start, and you know, they supplanted the 5th year starter. This cat who had just thrown for like 5,000 yards before, right? They supplanted with me, so I got the white cats over here, like the white cats on the university, like right?
Got a lot of eyes on it.
Right, and but those eyes were piercing.
Yeah, yes indeed.
Right, especially
100%.
it changed up the offense. We went to the Tony Rice under center, wishbone, you know.
Right.
So it was that, and then as we started to transition, the next year, where the one successful season for us, we were 4-3 in league play with a tie, I believe, and having some success.
Yeah.
Won games, and it was like, okay.
Right.
Now I'm back to kind of like what I used to be, you know, mentality. So on and
got
so
your juice
forth.
going a little bit. Got
And then
your
the
mojo.
next year, our junior year, we were, you know, Street and Smith, right? The magazine.
Yeah.
Before they were crushing us.
Right.
Right. This particular year, we're getting all the notoriety. 11 coming back on defense, 9 on offense. We supposed to be that thing.
Yeah.
And man, we lost a couple out the gate. And in that time, it wasn't all of these bowl games.
Right.
Right. And the league wasn't MAC East, MAC West. So you could only afford to lose really 1.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Okay.
Man.
The beauty of college football.
Yeah,
though,
so
right?
we lost. When we lost that,
it
it went in a different direction. Now, in that, coach took me from being able to run the option and wishbone and all those things to, he's like, well, forget it. I'm gonna let you start spinning it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I had lost a lot of confidence and juice in those first 2 years, if you will.
Yeah.
So when he started allowing me to spin it and really get out there and really play, along with, to your point about being able to run, it was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, this is
nice.
This is nice. This is
to have that ability to be able to put that type of pressure on the defense.
Right.
So way before my time. And I look back because I think that's 1989, 90. Here comes Vic.
Yeah.
And he changed the
Changed the landscape of the way the game.
Right. But we had an interesting conversation the other day. trying to think of who I was talking to, but we were talking about even with the Vic. Well, how many others were there really?
Right, yeah. I mean, he just happened to appear at a place that where Vic got some of that love at Tech, but how many other A.T. Thorntons was all over the place, right? Like, 'cause it was guys like you maybe that was doing some special things. You know, what's interesting is that you go off to OU at a time when even though OU is an hour and some change down the road, when you was going to OU, it was 2 hours away, and I say that jokingly, right? Because the city didn't have, the state didn't have this simple 33 path. You just hop over there and blink your eyes, and then you in the backyard of OU. You had to go down and around and take a corner, and you could miss a turn before I remember going to OU a couple of times. I'm like, I don't even know where I'm at anymore, right? So as a kid, if you're sharing to a kid right now, family, they a junior, senior, whatnot. They're making this same type of life decision. How do they prepare? Because on the same time now, and your body of work is so amazing. But like, and I want to get this in before they start telling me because the time goes so fast, right? And as we're talking, but you're a coach in our league. You went back and had an opportunity to coach at your alma mater. You're currently a coach at Mifflin High School, and you're leading young people all over again. You're a recognizable name. I don't know if you know that or not. You're a recognizable name of authority. You know what I mean? Like people will ask me those things. There's a handful of guys' names in Columbus City who are like a part of that elder statesman group. Mm-hmm. Whose names come up when I'm out just in the community talking to people, and your name is one of them. So now you got all these listeners, all the show's listeners. You know what I mean? Ada, I'm putting you on the spot. I told you I'd put you a little bit on the spot, right? But people want to know, what does Coach Thornton think I should do? To be very honest with you, you know what I mean? They're looking to a voice like yours because you've been there, you've done so much. So what do you share for whatever sport? Because your own son went through this a couple years ago. Right? So you're a father who's lived it, you're a kid who's lived it, you're a coach who's coached it. What do you say? Family comes to you and they're wanting to know, hey, coach, help us out. How do we make this next life decision?
So there's a song by my favorite artist, hip-hop artist, right? KRS-One.
Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. I didn't know we was going to get KRS-One love in here, but...
well, as you were asking me, right?
Yeah.
That came to mind, but it was a song, and it's called Build Your Skills. Everyone is operating and moving in this culture of the microwave society still.
Okay.
For what we try to do.
Turn your radios up, people. Turn your radios up now.
It's about build your skills. Building your skills and your talent, those things last longer than anything else.
Okay.
Right? Hone your craft.
Yeah.
Right? I watch kids, I'm in the school, right? Kids sitting at the computer. All they watch is highlights. Mm-hmm. Highlights. Yep. And they believe that what you're watching is something that is something magical, something mystical, and it's not.
Right.
It requires a lot of work, a lot of dedication to your craft. Those hours in the gym, those hours in the weight room, those hours, right, studying. When I talk to young people, and I try to explain this to them in so much of a layman's term, but when you're being recruited, it's like you going out as a young man and you trying to come up and meet this one and this one and this one, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing that's being done at the college level. When they walk out of their buildings, their respective buildings, your name is already listed with X amount of others, right? If you're in that category, right? They really want Dr. Clarno, right? But if Dr. Clarno turns this thing down, oh, we're going to go over here. We got the backup already. Right. So you have to put yourself in a position of power is what I would say, from your grades to how well you play, how well you can think the game, how well you can talk the game. How do you carry yourself social media-wise, right? Those outliers of those who are making the millions of dollars. Right. Because they're truly gifted and talented. Right. And they the LeBrons have put all of that together. Longevity is what LeBron has done. Some of those folks can't see that. Right. You can still build your skills and have those things. it ain't too many people that are going to be LeBron or anybody else. But you still can be great at what you do by honing your craft.
Certainly.
And having a plan, right? I thought about this when I was asked to come. Athletics is nothing more than a vehicle.
100%.
So if you're not driving it correctly, if you're not taking care of it correctly, you're not going to reach the places that you believe.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they want the fruit without the labor.
That's exactly. This generation, and I even say to a degree, families also. Everybody wants the magic dust. They just want you to come along with that pouch of magic dust, just sprinkle it on during game day. And it started me a couple years ago, man. I started doing my own research, and I won't get us too far off track. But I came down to, because like you said about this highlight clip generation. They don't watch full games anymore. And I remember when we were kids, in order to see that one highlight, you had to watch the game, which in turn also taught you the game. Whether you're watching football, baseball, basketball, it didn't make any difference, right? And so I realized, and I kind of came up with my own number, but I came up with this kind of equation that says 1,200 to 1. You have to have done that particular move over, about 1,000 times before you can execute it that one time successfully in the game. That's the part that I think, and that's the work that you're talking about. That's you have to do it over and over and over again to get yourself in a place that when that one lightning strikes, for that one moment, for you to throw throw it on a rope into that little tight spot, for you to drop it down there on 35, 40 yards down the field because your guy is streaking, for you to make that apex spin move and lay it up with your opposite hand. You had to have done that multiple times before that lightning struck and that opportunity presented itself. And that's the work, right? Yeah. And so it's interesting that you share that, because I don't know that anyone ever really sees some of that behind the scenes stuff. This group is driven so much by the clip. I share with people all the time. If somebody put together a highlight clip from when I was in high school as a senior, you'd be wondering why I wasn't playing at Kentucky. But if you watched the whole game, you'd realize why I was playing where I was playing. You know what I mean? Because I can put together 20 highlights and make you think that dude's amazing. Right? But them highlights ain't my whole body of work. Right. And I get it. I don't have any knocks on my own path. But so let me kind of go here. And I know we're wrapping down here today. I think that advice is stand on. So families and parents out there listening, kids and everyone, you got it from one of the best that's ever done it right here, right? That you can't get the success without the work. But now let's go full speed, right? Because we had to leap through a lot of stuff. You sit here today as the head football coach, Mifflin Punchers. Share with us a little bit about Mifflin, man. What you're doing today, man, and you know what I mean, what's going on in your world, so we can kind of get caught up, and then people who know AT without the salt, man, can hear from the salt today, man. Right? So we get a little bit of that salt and pepper that you got there going, man.
I took some time off. Your son graduated, daughter had graduated, so I needed some downtime to catch back up with.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
I think people miss that part too. You got to get caught up with yourself.
Okay.
And love yourself, respect yourself, in the process. I stepped away for a little bit, did 1 year with my guy Gooseby. Man, you sitting on your couch? Come on out here, right?
Yeah.
I got you, man.
Right.
Last year, the last football season, I was asked to go out to the OCC. A couple of my compadres was like, come on out here.
Yeah.
And then those moments, right? I just recognized, man, I'm a city guy.
Yeah, I got
Now, in the process of that, leaving out of my building for the last 2 years and watching things that were transpiring, it behind the scenes, coach here, and those things weren't working for them. And they are a really good group of kids. I teach there.
Right.
9 years going now. And I realized they needed a bull, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is all of these young men are being led by young bulls, meaning 13 is leading the 13-year-old, so on and so forth, right? We as men in our communities, in the spaces and the places that we operate, have a responsibility to return as bulls, right? In the sense of guiding them, right? Giving them information, pushing them in the right direction.
Nice.
So what happened for us this year, our kids were 3 years IQ deficient, right? But if you go and watch any of the games with the exception of 2, right? And those 2 games where we didn't play well, I can tell you one week, we didn't have guys coming to practice. It was a culture change for them coming back. They like, I used to ask them.
I'm supposed to be here every day.
I said, you haven't had this for 2 years. You know, what happens? We took them on a trip to the Hall of Fame, right?
Nice, okay.
And I'm listening to them talk.
Yeah.
And then I just asked them, I said, this is before Greg, brought me back in.
Yeah.
And I said, what happens if you get all of these things that you guys said you were missing?
Right.
Training, workouts and
Right.
so on and so forth.
Right.
Film study.
Right.
Concepts. What happens?
Yeah.
Take the job. Boom. I said, oh, you got it now.
Right.
Now what? Now the expectations rose. So it took us a while to get our footing, but we played in a number of games. We had East 8-0 at the half. People, texting me after the game, man, how'd y'all get there?
Yeah.
Because I asked the kids to work and they did it.
Nice.
And this was a 2-18 that I can say next to the playoff team we had at Mifflin, next to my state championship I was a part of at Brookhaven.
Yeah.
I was very proud of our young men.
Wow, okay.
Because they showed up every week. Yeah, we had a bunch of hiccups.
Yeah.
But getting them to understand, and it was therapeutic for me, right? Because I do come from that old school, that old school vibe.
No doubt.
But those 2 years of stepping away allowed me to come back and recognize the ways in which I needed to do business differently. Yeah. So now, as our young people walk through the building, when the weight room open, when we doing this? Yeah. Right? The laughing and joking that we can do. Right. Right. Taking them into the gym. I think we did a gym segment their senior year. So they thought we was gonna go left. I said, no, we're gonna shoot a little ball. Yeah. We're gonna play at my style. No doubt. Right. Yeah. And, we did the around the world, around the 3-point line. Yeah. Oh, we're going to kill you, coach. I said, one caveat. At each of these foul line extended, you got to go glass.
Right. Give them a little something. Boom. Right.
Yeah. They like, how you do that?
Yeah. Because I've been in this gym many times, right?
To your point about the number of reps. So it was a way to reconnect, to let them know I'm human. Yeah. Right. I think for so many years of coaching in the league, the city, man, for 20 years. Coaches in general don't know how to take their veil off, their shield off, right? They because think I was human a lot of times, man, that I'm some kind of machine. No, I'm not a machine. Yeah. I want the best for all of our young people all across the city. We have the ability. We have great talents and gifts. Yeah. But you got to build your skill, yo. Certainly. If you don't do that, if you don't really understand that it's not going to happen overnight, that you really got to put in work. Yeah. The fruits of your labor, you said it, and that's one of the things I say. Success only comes before work in the dictionary. Mm-hmm. The only place. That's right. So that's right. Our kids are understanding now. They want it. Yeah. And we got a great group of kids. And so I'm trying to teach them also to be multi-sport athletes. Certainly. You young people out here that are listening. Yeah. I'm only a basketball player. I'm only a football player. Stop it. That's right. Stop it. That's right. If you go and look up the stats, if you go look up any scholarly article, any type of article, just look it up. Multi-sport athletes, this is what coaches are looking for. Yeah. Look at and not even for coaching. I didn't mean to dive in, but also if you go look at anything that sports medicine and athletic trainers are putting out there, and they're saying to you, you have to use different body muscles, parts. You got to use different muscles, different tendons, different things. I want to dive in and share something also because I've kind of twisted a term the last couple of years when people say old school, and I call it caring school. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because I think oftentimes, man, when these young kids hear old school, they think outdated. And I will circle back to some of those kids and I say, no, that's called the caring school. The old school mentality was from individuals who cared enough to make sure we're going to continue to do the process, the right things, the certain way. And I'm not knocking the new school, if it's old school and new school, right? If it has to be a versus. But what I have found is that more new school coaches, I'm using air quotations for the listeners out there, the new school coaches tend to look for a route. I'm not going to say cut corners, but they tend to seem to look for a route that seems like the easier path. And there's no easy path to success.
There's only hard work paths, right? In my opinion, you have to put in the work to get there. And so I share often with young coaches. I say, hey, look, that can't be the route you're trying to get to. If you say your goal is this, I don't know that what you're doing is going to get you to that. Right. Now, do it your way, and obviously, if that's what you believe is a success. But I think we find time and time again that the old school, caring school, because it's hard to come in there and say we got to do it again, and we got to do it over again, and we got to do it one more time, and then we got to do it like that's hard to do. That's hard to motivate young people or any group of people to do that routine over and over and over again to find that level of success. Man, me and you could keep on going. You know what I mean? They're giving me the signal here that I got to start to wrap us up. Right. Coach, I've shared this with a few guests that have been on. We're going to find a way to get you back on here again. We haven't had a chance to talk about your son. We haven't had a chance to talk about our mutual love and passion for the Pittsburgh Steelers out there, and all the other fun stuff, man, that you've been a part of. I think what you've shared here today, man, is phenomenal for coaches, for parents, for kids, for colleagues. You know what I mean? For those of us here doing what we do, it's nice to get a chance to hear a part of your journey. I'm going to pause. I'm going to let you say whatever you want to say as we wrap up and get out of here, man. Then I'm going to read an outro and get us out of here. But whatever lasting information you want to share, man, to the listeners,
I would say this.
Follow the show.
You said something and it triggered me, and that is parents. My success, the successes that I've had is because of the support of my family, my immediate family, my children, right, my wife, my mother, my aunts and uncles. All of those people were supportive. Yeah. In coaching right now and being out there to the people, I see a lot of our kids and their folks aren't showing up. Mm-hmm. So that sends an incredible, indelible message. Right, that you don't necessarily care. So then why would the young person truly care? Right. Y'all got to be there in whatever capacity. Yeah. If you can't come to the game, contribute a meal, contribute something. Yes, indeed. Right, to your young person. That's what I would say. Because it was done for me. It was done by the Reggie Lees when us kids ask, what'd you do this for, Coach? Because the cats, Reggie Lee and Holly Robinson, and every time I saw Coach Rob a couple weekends ago, man. Right. Yeah. Those folks pulled us aside and had some of those grown men conversations in times where they knew you didn't have a grown man, in your set, if you will. Certainly. Right. And it's not to crush you when you mention old school. I'll leave it at this. My young people, the Jeff Crumblers and them and his whole crew, they don't even call me old school. Yeah. They go school. Ah, love it. What's up, school? Yeah. Right? It is a term of endearment. Certainly. Right? And so be that for somebody else so that they can turn around and say, man, that cat, he helped me these times. 100%. Be that. Yeah. Be a bull. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, look, we in Columbus City Schools are lucky to have you as a part of our village. Thank you. The Mifflin Punchers are lucky to have you, being a part of the wisdom and leading those young people there. We honor here, City League Sportsman, to have you on the show. I got to read an outro. Do we get us out of here, man? Fun show today. A lot of good stuff there. A lot of meat on the bones. Yeah, you're 100% you can. I want to say, when you say lucky, I'm lucky to be a part of Columbus City Schools. Okay. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. I give my thanks every morning to that I had the opportunity to have and the access to impact young people in Columbus City. And I ain't going to do it nowhere else but right here. I love, and I share this, man, with kind of my inner circle. So I'm putting it on the air for a moment here. But I'm happy that my journey and my path is taking place at the same time as yours. So I get to sit back and be a fan. I don't know if you really, if you hear but like I get to, I was placed here at the same time you was placed here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I get to be a fan of your work also. And not always as close as I like to be because of all the different areas in which I get stretched. But I'm happy to watch you, man. You know what I mean? And I know there's many more journeys for us to talk about. Much respect to you today, Coach, man. All of our listeners, be sure to catch us on future episodes. Radio WCBE 90.5 FM.
Also, for those of you out there that are doing your podcast thing, catch us on Spotify, Apple, or the platform where you prefer to listen to your favorite podcast. Follow us on Instagram at City League Sports 614. Till next time, this is City League Sports.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, no, thank you.